Hey, what's up guys, Solidubs here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Logitech G Pro wireless gaming mouse. Now this mouse can be found in the UK for around £130. In the US it can be found for around $150. Now in this review I'll be comparing it to the Logitech G903. That is also a very much highly respected mouse that can be found for around £105 in the UK, whilst in the US it can be found for around $130. Links will be down in the description below in case you're interested. Now let's talk about what's inside the box first. Now when you open the box, you'll find a few little accessories and some which might catch you by not surprise, but might intrigue you. Now the first thing that you'll notice is these little kind of plastic bits, and this is because you can remove the left and right hand side buttons of the mouse, and you can replace them with plastic bits which basically cover them up. So you can see on the right hand side, as I'm a right-handed user, I've completely covered up the right hand buttons so that I can't click them, whereas on the left hand side these little magnetic little things click into place which equate to a button, which is fantastic because therefore you can use it as a left-hander or a right-hander. Of course, you're either one or the other usually, but nevertheless it's nice to see that this mouse will cater for both sides of hands. So that's what these little plastic bits are within the packaging. Then moving on, you've got this little kind of weird little box. This is simply for an extender, so you plug in the micro USB connector which is included into this, and once you've connected that, you connect up the small little USB adapter which I'm going to unplug from my PC, and it's found like so, and then you plug it into here, obviously getting a USB direction right, which you always get wrong, I know. And then this will mean that if your computer is far away from your actual mouse, you can place this on your desk or have it somewhere that's a little bit more accessible. In my case, the PC is very much close, so I can plug this in directly into my PC. You can hear it plugging in, and then not have to worry about a wire. Now, why is the wire included? Simply because you're going to need to charge it. Now, this mouse obviously will need charge at some point, so when you need to plug it in, you have the micro USB connector and it clicks into play, and it can be used whilst being in a wired mode as well. That's great because it allows the best of both worlds. You can have it wired, or when it's fully charged, or when it is charged, you can have it wireless. Now, if you're wondering if you can charge it whilst it's when your PC is off, yes, you can, but you will need to make sure you have that enabled in your BIOS. That's a whole different a set of questions and things that you'll wonder about. I suggest Googling about that, but nevertheless, you can charge it whilst it's off, or you can plug it into a wall socket in order for it to charge. Now, in terms of the build quality and design of the mouse, I must say it's fantastic. I've currently got it off because I can click around with it without interfering with what's on my PC. But nevertheless, you've got a left and right button, you've got the scroll wheel, which sounds great, and there's no rattle at all in terms of a little scroll wheel. On the right hand side you've got two buttons, left hand side two buttons which I mentioned can be removed or customized. Then you've got a dedicated DPI switch button underneath the mouse, which makes sense. You've got an on and off switch, so obviously you can save battery if you so wish by switching it off. This will switch off on idle when it's not being used for a while and resume very quickly as soon as you pick up the mouse again. And then also underneath over here, you will see you've got a small little USB kind of a holder, which is great for that little USB piece that I showed that goes into the PC to store it here. It means you can take it on the go. And also this mouse is PowerPlay compatible. So if you've got a Logitech mouse pad and you want to charge the mouse whilst using it wirelessly, you can do. Obviously you'll need the PowerPlay adapter slash upgrade in order to do that. Weirdly enough, there's no adjustable weights that are included in the box, whereas most of Logitech's products come with adjustable weights, but this is not the case. Now, I want to touch upon two things, mainly that's the weight and also in terms of the actual the battery life. In terms of battery life, if you use lighting, you expect to have around 48 hours of usage, whilst if you have no lighting, it can extend to around 60 hours. Now that's absolutely massive, which is great because it means that you have to charge the mouse a lot less often than you normally will have to versus other gaming mice, which is a massive plus for people who are especially on the go, or people who just don't like having wires because they bought a wireless mouse for a reason. So it's a great job that Logitech have done this, and they've done this because of the sensor. Now, I'll get into the sensor in just a second, but the weight of the mouse is 80 grams. Now 80 grams mean this mouse is absolutely lightweight. It hardly feels it's in your hand when you're actually using it. This is fantastic because if you're an FPS gamer like myself, flicking from left to right or actually using the mouse for your daily basis, you'll feel that you're like using a very small mini mouse that you'd be using with your laptop rather than a full-blown desktop mouse, which actually fits pretty well in your hands. So I must say, very impressed with the overall weight, and it's a massive step up from the Logitech G903, which was a lot heavier in terms of using it, and made it a little bit more awkward for FPS gamers or people who want to be fast-paced or using the mouse left and right all the time. So fantastic job by Logitech, and in terms of using it, I must say it's very comfortable. Now, in terms of the overall polling rate, it's 1000 Hertz, which means you've got no problems in terms of its latency. But the most important thing over here, and the reason why this mouse can last such a long time, is because of its Hero sensor. Now, Logitech's Hero sensors goes up to 16,000 DPI. That's more than you'll ever need. If you're wondering about the Hero sensor, it's Logitech's very own new sensor, which competes with other flawless gaming mice sensors. That includes the PWM3366 sensor and also the Pixart, I think it's the 3890 sensor as well. Top of my head, I think that's the names of them. But nevertheless, those two mice sensors are highly regarded as among the very best sensors that you can find on the market, and very much so the Logitech G903 before it used the PWM3366 sensor. Now you might be wondering, okay, well, what is the difference in terms of performance between the two? Well, from what I experienced, and obviously going up to 12,000 DPI, which is the maximum of the older sensor, I had no problems whatsoever. They both flawlessly work. They work through different materials. Their one-to-one tracking is fantastic, and in terms of how it works with angle snapping or acceleration, deceleration, there's none of it. It's very much a perfect sensor. It's very much a beautiful sensor to use. So overall, I must say I'm very impressed with the sensor in terms of its overall performance, and it very much is like the older sensor. Apart from the fact that this one now goes up to 16,000 DPI, which is 4,000 extra DPI. To be quite honest with you, I'm never going to use more than 2000 DPI, so that extra DPI increase means absolutely nothing to me. But for some very, very finite, like 0.1% of the population that uses more than 12,000 DPI, you'll be pleased to know this goes up to 16,000 DPI. So in terms of performance-wise, I must say I was very impressed with this mouse. So overall, what do I think of it? Well, to be honest with you, I think it is slightly expensive versus the G903. It's an extra £30 premium. Of course, the G903 is about a year old, or a little bit more than that now, so therefore prices have dropped accordingly. So therefore, you know, the price comparison might be slightly unfair for the G Pro, but nevertheless, I have to compare it at current prices rather than what the MSRP is. Nevertheless, this is slightly more expensive. However, it's a lightweight mouse. It has it's PowerPlay enabled. It has LightSync technology, which in other words has flawless wireless technology to and from the PC. It's beautifully built, means that you can use it for a left-handed or right-handed person. And more so, its performance is flawless. There's no problems in terms of tracking or anything like that. Now, is this a mouse I would personally use? Well, I would have used it if they hadn't got rid of one very important button, and that's the one at the very top. Now, I don't know why, but the wired version, the G Pro wired version of this mouse, has a button at the top, and of course it has a very odd sort of form factor, which some people, it was like a Marmite sort of solution. Some people loved it or hated it. The G903 had loads of buttons, but it was a lot heavier. This mouse would have been my go-to mouse if it had a top button, and I don't really understand why Logitech have removed it, simply because when it comes to Counter-Strike, I use it for 1 and 3 on the left-hand side to change between a knife and my main weapon, and at the top I press R to reload. For an FPS gamer, that's pretty much needed. You need about 3 buttons that you can customize. Obviously for MOBA gamers or any other type of gamers, you probably need a lot more, so this mouse won't be aimed directly at you. The G903 will probably be better suited for you because you've got more buttons to play around with. But nevertheless, I just found it strange that they got rid of that button. So yes, I would recommend it. Yes, I absolutely love it and I wish I would use it, but unfortunately it's not going to take me away from my daily driver, which in this case is the SteelSeries Rival 310, just because it doesn't have that top button. As trivial as that might sound, I can't stress how much I use that little top button. So that's my personal opinions. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this mouse, if you're thinking about getting this mouse, or what you think of other wireless gaming mouse that are out there. Be sure to give me a like, comment, subscribe, always helps the channel grow. And obviously, as I said before, let me know in the comments below what you think of the mouse. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed, take care and bye bye.